In the village of Akpanya, there lived a man named Okonkwo. Okonkwo was not the richest man, nor was he the poorest. But if there was one thing he had plenty of, it was wives. 3 of them. His first wife, Mama Nkechi, was the strong one. She could pound yam with one hand and scold the child with the other. If you annoyed her, she would look at you like you were an expired sachet of pure water. The second wife, Mama Amaka, was the peaceful one. She was the type who could cook a meal so delicious that you would forget your own problems. Then there was the third wife, the one who turned Okonkwo's life into a never-ending Nollywood film. Ah, this woman was an expert in laziness. If the gods created a festival for lazy people, she would be their queen. But what made her dangerous was not just her laziness, it was her mouth. If anything went wrong, it was never her fault. No, no, no. She had a PhD in blaming other people. One morning, as the sun stretched its arms over the rooftops, Okonkwo was preparing for a long day of farm work. His first 2 wives were already outside, sweeping the compound. But where was Mama Ego? She was sleeping like a baby elephant inside the hut. Mama Ego, Okonkwo called. No answer. Mama Ego, he clapped his hands. From inside the hut, a lazy voice floated out. Who is calling my name and disturbing my beauty sleep? Okonkwo signed. Wake up and sweep the compound. Mama Ego ground and rolled over. But is there not sand in the compound? If I sweep, will the sand disappear? Okonkwo looked up at the sky as if asking the gods why they had given him this type of wife. Mama Ego, come outside now Before he could finish, she finally crawled out, yawning like a lion that had eaten too much. She picked up the broom, looked at it, looked at the ground and sighed deeply. Who even invented sweeping? This is why Nigeria is not progressing. The moment she bent down to sweep, the first wife, Mama Nkechi, passed by with a basket of firewood. Mama Ego immediately saw an opportunity. Look at this woman. She has been here since 4 a.m. carrying firewood, making the rest of us look lazy. If I don't sweep well now, people will say it is my fault. See what you have caused, Mama Nkechi. Mama Nkechi stopped. Are you mad? Mama Ego gasped. You see how she's insulting me? Because I said the truth. I am just a poor innocent woman and now everybody is attacking me. Okonkwo shook his head. He knew where this was going. Mama Ego dropped the broom immediately. I can't work in this toxic environment. I am going back inside. And just like that, sweeping was over. Later that day, Okonkwo sat under the mango tree, hungry enough to eat an entire cow. He called out, Mama Ego, go and make lunch. Mama Ego stretched her arms and yawned. But what of Mama Amaka? Is she not the one who enjoys cooking? Why are you stressing me? Okonkwo's patience was running thin. Mama Amaka has been cooking since yesterday. It's your turn. Mama Ego pouted like a spoilt child. But since there was no escaping it, she dragged herself to the kitchen. She lifted a pot, stared at it as if she was trying to calculate the meaning of life, and finally put it on the fire. 30 minutes later, the smell that came out of the kitchen was not food, it was a crime. The first wife rushed in, holding her nose. Mama Ego, what is this nonsense? Mama Ego stood proudly, its jollof rice. Mama Nkechi squinted at the blackened mess inside the pot. This is not jollof rice. This is an obituary. The second wife, Mama Amaka, walked in and took one look at the pot. You have killed the rice. What did the rice do to you? Mama Ego crossed her arms. It is not my fault. The problem is this fire. It is the one that burns the rice too fast. Mama Nkechi shouted, "Ah, so now even the fire for cooking your own food is your enemy?" Mama Ego hissed, "You people just hate me because I am beautiful." Okonkwo, who had been watching quietly, clapped his hands 3 times and said, "Mama Ego, you are a national problem." By evening, Okonkwo had had enough. "Mama Ego, tomorrow morning you must wake up early and go to the farm with us." Mama Ego gasped as if he had told her to fight a lion with her bare hands. "Me? Farm? Ha! Do you want my fine skin to suffer under the sun?" Okonkwo rubbed his forehead. "My dear, at this rate, even the sun is ashamed of you." But Mama Ego, being who she was, had already planned her next move. That night, while the other wives were snoring in their rooms, she quietly snuck out and ran to the neighbor's house. "Please, let me sleep here," she begged. "Tomorrow, my wicked husband wants to send me to the farm. If I stay there, I will die." The neighbor, who had heard stories about Mama Ego's laziness, laughed so hard that she almost fell off her chair. "No problem, sleep here. But tomorrow morning, make sure you don't go back late. Your husband might think you have run away for good." Mama Ego smiled. "Don't worry, I will go back just in time." And with that, she laid her head down, smiling to herself. The morning sun stretched its golden fingers over Akwanya village, waking up the farmers, the traders, and even the chickens. But there was one person who refused to be woken: Mama Ego. While her husband, Okonkwo, and the other wives were already in the compound, preparing for a long day of farm work, Mama Ego was nowhere to be found. "Mama Ego! Mama Ego!" Okonkwo shouted. No answer. Mama Nkechi, the first wife, placed her hands on her waist. Maybe she finally turned into a bag of rice, since she refused to do anything except eat. Mama Amaka, the second wife, shook her head. "That woman cannot disappear just like that. She must be hiding somewhere." And she was right. Mama Ego was not missing. She was very comfortable, snoring peacefully on the neighbor's bamboo mat, mouth open, dreams sweet. She had spent the whole night in Madame Beatrice's house, claiming she needed protection from wickedness. But the truth was simple: she wanted to escape work. Farm work, care. Mama Ego had scoffed the night before. "I was born for soft life. My hands were not made for suffering." Unfortunately for her, life had other plans. Why is the world against me? Back at Okonkwo's compound, his patience was running thin. If Mama Ego had gone to visit her ancestors, she should have at least informed us, he said. Mama Nkechi rolled her eyes. That woman's ancestors are probably also tired of her excuses. Okonkwo signed. "Forget her. Let's go to the farm. When she comes back, she will explain herself." So the family left, marching toward the farmland with their hoes and cutlasses, ready for a hard day's work. As soon as the compound was empty, Mama Ego snuck back in, yawning and stretching as if she had been the one doing all the hard work. She smiled to herself. Ah, what a peaceful morning. No shouting, no farm work, no stress. She was just about to go inside and prepare a lazy breakfast when she heard a voice. "Ah, so you are here." Mama Ego turned sharply. It was Madame Beatrice, her neighbor, standing at the entrance of the compound with a big basket of tomatoes on her head. Mama Ego forced a smile. "Oh, my dear sister, good morning." Madame Beatrice eyed her suspiciously. "Why are you not on the farm with your family?" Mama Ego sighing dramatically. "Ah, my sister, it is the work of my enemies, oh. I woke up this morning and my legs refused to move. I tried and tried, but the gods held me down. I said, "What is happening?" Then I realized it is my husband's other wives. They have charmed me because they want to make me look bad. Madame Beatrice burst out laughing. Mama Ego, even the gods are tired of your excuses. Mama Ego hissed, "Believe whatever you want. It's not my fault." Madame Beatrice shook her head. "Anyway, since you are here doing nothing, help me roast these tomatoes. I have customers coming soon." Mama Ego's eyes widened. "Roast which tomatoes?" Madame Beatrice dumped the heavy basket in front of her. "If you won't farm, at least be useful somewhere. I will be back soon." Before Mama Ego could protest, Madame Beatrice had disappeared. She looked at the basket, she looked at the sun, she looked at her own hands. "Why is the world against me?" she wailed. Grumbling, Mama Ego carried the tomatoes to the backyard and set up a small fire. She sat down, slowly tossing them into the flames, one by one, like someone forced into manual labor. 5 minutes passed, 10 minutes. By the 15th minute, she was exhausted. "How do people survive this life?" she muttered. She looked around and got an idea. Instead of toasting the tomatoes properly, she decided to cheat the process. She spread all of them on the ground, covered them with dry leaves, and lit the whole thing on fire. Ah, very fast. By the time I finish singing one song, everything will be done. Mama Ego sat back, fanning herself, enjoying the smoke rising into the air. But she had forgotten one important thing. Fire does not respect shortcuts. Within seconds, the flames leaped up like an excited masquerade. Before she knew it, the fire had spread to the neighbor's plantain tree, then to the banana tree, then toward Madame Beatrice's shed. Mama Echo's eyes widened. "Yeah, yeah, yeah, somebody help me." She grabbed a bucket, ran to the well, fetched water, and threw it on the fire. But instead of calming the flames, the hot ashes flew into her wrapper, setting the tip of her cloth on fire. "Jesus, my fine wrapper." She started running around in circles, slapping herself, looking like a mad woman fighting invisible enemies. Just then, Madame Beatrice returned. The woman took one look at her backyard, one look at Mama Ego, and screamed, "Mama Ego, what have you done?" Mama Ego turned, eyes red with smoke, wrapper half burnt, sweat pouring down her face. "It is not my fault." Madame Beatrice spent the next hour pouring water everywhere, trying to save what was left of her backyard. By the time she was done, her tomatoes were gone, her plantain tree was gone, and her patience was gone. "Mama Ego, you are a disaster." Mama Ego, who had been sitting on a stool, still fanning herself, sniffed. "How can you blame me for this? You are the one who told me to roast tomatoes. If not for you, would this have happened?" Madame Beatrice dropped her bucket. "Oya, come and replace my tomatoes." Mama Ego gasped. "Replace what? Do I look like a tomato seller?" Madame Beatrice pointed toward Okonkwo's farm. "Your husband will hear about this." Mama Ego's heart dropped. "Eh? Farm?" That was exactly what she was trying to avoid. She had no choice. Before Madame Beatrice could catch her, she grabbed her slippers and ran toward the village market. "I will come back later," she shouted as she disappeared into the crowd. But one thing was certain, trouble was waiting for her at home. To be continued.